Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, Truedivine44. You can also get me on my Facebook page, Truedivine, and it is the Truedivine for both Instagram and Twitter. Again, any likes, shares, subscribes, comments really help what I'm doing here, and I appreciate all of you who do that thus far. So this is the daily energy reading with tarot for the 29th of August 2020. It's part of the free content that I put out to help you on your day, to help you navigate the energies within you, around you, and within others. Because it is general, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. As with me or any other reader, always discern with your heart as to what is for you to take on board. So for the 29th of August 2020, the first card is this Ace of Wands. So it's a new beginning, new innovative creative process. It's at the beginning of something that is passionate, something that you are passionate for, something that you are interested in or have a passion for. It can be political, it can be creative, as in a project you want to complete, a person, but this newness and this overriding passion for it, you know, it's on fire, it's got new growth on it, it's got small amount of growth on it, but you know that there's the holding of it, there's the exchange of that energy to this wand. Now, to clarify, this card is the Knight of Cups, but it's in reverse. And so with this is that there's trickery going on. It's very subtle trickery, but it's done through the emotions connecting to the passions. So you might have people around you in your circle, or you might that you're seeing this in, or might be feeling this happen to you right now, or maybe just getting that niggle that that's happening to you right now, where you're being subtly coerced by somebody hooking into your passions and maybe looking like they're interested in helping you along with it, interested in supporting you along with it, and showing you that emotional support, but it's false. The cup's empty, it's upside down. And so, you know, that's not nice when that happens to us. And with this Knight of Cups usually being very good with emotions, very wholesome, very true, true of heart, this is very, very different. This is very negative, in that this is something that's trying to hijack, that's trying to not only hijack, but make it look like in the end that it was your fault that it got hijacked in the first place, because it's very subtle, it's very insidious, looking like the supportive friend, looking like the supportive lover. Indeed, on the collective stage, we're seeing this a lot, in that on some surfaces it might seem like some political figures are supporting new creativity, new innovative ideas. Yet how far does that support really go? Is it just so that they can get the plans to a certain point, and then legally in their legal world stop things from coming to the fore? But in the meantime, it keeps some of the masses happy. It keeps some of the people with these new innovations, with these new creations, quiet and appeased. So be aware of that. Be aware to watch that on the collective stage also. The second card is the Seven of Swords. So you can see in this card is making off with Four of the Swords. And this is to speak of the theft and trickery that's going on behind your back. He's doing it when there's no audience there, when there's nobody looking at him. He's being very shifty, he's on his tiptoes, he's not making a sound with his feet. But it's once it happens, once this these intellectual properties, maybe, you know, the ideas that you're having and sharing with the wrong person that's trying to look like the right person in your life, all of a sudden this theft is quick. It might have taken a little while to get to this point, but at this point you see this theft occur, and it's shocking, it's heartbreaking. To clarify that card, we've got the Four of Pentacles. So it's robbing from this being the manifestation process of new things, new creativities, new passions, new relationships, to it affecting a theft a hijack of your mind, of your intellectual thoughts, your words, you know, the words that they said to you not being true, they're taking all of those words back, those swords representing that, all of them back with them to use on the next victim. And it shook your foundation. It affects your physical world. So we've got it affecting all aspects of you. If you're not aware of this and discerning of this, to put a stop to it ASAP if this resonates with you, because it affects the wands in your life, the fire. It affects the waters, the cups, the emotions. It affects the thoughts, the intellect, the words. It affects the pentacles, the physical, the earth that you stand on, the house that you have, the prosperity that you have, the things that sustain you. So all of the elements are involved here. He's making off here through the ether to get away but you can see this card on the black and white, sorry, it doesn't show very well, but this card is actually really bright. He's not doing it under the guise of night, and that's the narcissistic energy of this reading today, in that it's done in plain sight with kind words. Kindness is being shown. The only card that is dark within this setup is this Knight of Cups in reverse. All of these are light, and so it's done in plain sight. It's almost done with your consent. And this is where we get into complacency, you know, being complacent about the small things, build up to the big things. So if you've had that niggle about somebody in your life or on the collective stage regarding political figures, you know, and people that are in the limelight, you know, that have some kind of pull on people's ideas or the way that they would act after hearing this person speak, somebody on the stage, be aware of that and don't buy into that. Right now is about refinement of self and being self-empowered, being self-powering, self-sourcing, and then being able to come in the collective with other people who've done the same thing, two wholes coming together as two wholes, rather than a broken bit and a broken bit trying to make a whole. It's not going to work. So it rocks the physical foundation here. And it does so in right in front of your view. Just like they've always got to get consent. They always tell you actually what they're doing in the speeches right in front of your face, on TV, in programming. They do it right in front of your face. They don't hide, because this is a much more effective way, because at the end of it, you're more broken because you feel silly, or you don't want to admit to others around you that love you what's happened. You are left looking like you can't come forward regarding what has gone on, because, you know, maybe people have warned you along the way, maybe you've had those niggles and spoken them out to friends, but regardless, you fell for those honey dripping words from this Knight of Cups in reverse. It hooked into your passions, it hooked into your sexuality, sensuality, you know, so it's hard to come back from this. It's hard to admit. And people do judge. People will say, well, we told you so. Or people will say, but really, did he do that? I mean, you looked so happy. Or did she do that? You know, you looked so good together. You know, or really, that's not what this political figure said. I mean, they did say this could happen. You know, so there's plausible deniability. There's the consent. There's all of these aspects today coming forward in this reading. So the next card, the last card, being the Queen of Cups. And so this speaks to the Queen of Cups is this wholesome queen. She's balanced in her emotions. She's got everything she needs. She is actually in control of her emotions and not her emotions in control of her. Now, speaking of that, the Sun card comes out with her. And so this is the idea of using your divine feminine within, the yin and the yang, the light and the dark, the negative, positive. Having that balanced out creates this Queen of Cups, whole in thyself and enlightened by thyself, not being able to be tricked by this kind of narcissistic energy, because guided by intuition, not guided by false promises, not guided by you know, well, was that mine for them to steal, or was I stealing their ideas? That confusion, absolutely, with her gut feeling, her intuition. What would be a motherly, very gentle queen is a warrior inside, because she is dependent upon her own creative source within, her own gut feeling, and she doesn't doubt it. And the sun comes out. She is truly enlightened by this and not tricked by any outside forces, because she's whole in herself. Her being the divine feminine, being sourced and activated by the divine masculine of the sun, the benevolence of the sun, awakening this goddess who's already done enough inner work that it's worth enlightening even more. It's worth showing even more to. She's leveling herself up. And so that being said, trust your gut feeling. On the bottom of the deck is the Five of Swords. So this is nastiness. This is, this is words being exchanged, what would be, seemingly nice to your face. The Knight of Cups with all of these honey words behind your back. They'll be calling you worse than shit. And already working on having a plan in motion that people discredit you when it all comes down to it, when they make off with your thoughts, your intellect, your intellectual ideas, your intellectual property, because they've already been working on it behind the scenes. They've already been saying, what a hard time they're having with you. We see this happening on the political sphere. In America, we see the likes of that Harris woman, now being quite happy to be, alongside Biden. They don't mind doing that. And it's just who wins this battle, this chess game. And so that's happening in our individual lives as well. So be aware of it, what people say and do, and whether those actions match up together. Go with your gut feeling, and be aware that overly friendly people might be coming around you right now to take what's not theirs. They don't want to put the work in for their own life, so they take what's not theirs. As above, so below. So we do have to be discerning about that and keep our frequency whole in ourselves, not reliant on others. So on the bottom of the other deck is this Page of Pentacles. And so this speaks to me of a childlike trust regarding the safety of the things around us, the reality that we live in, a childlike trust that is being, misused. And so any of that inner child work that needs to be done through the enlightenment and intuition and guidance and compassion of this Queen of Cups, with the enlightenment of the sun, is important right now, so that these energies can't get their hooks into you to take you off your path, or indeed take your security away from you. So take note of that. Underneath that Page of Pentacles is the sun. Now, the sun, again, two suns very close together. I mean, there's activation here if you look for it. If you can really raise the bar a little bit in your own individual life about the people you have around you, about the knowing of the capacity that you have within to create and be passionate and actually attract whole people around you, not these Knight of Cups in reverse, not to fall for those upside down cups that are empty, words of honey that isn't even real honey, it's sweetener. It's going to do nothing but be cancerous in your life. And so this might seem harsh, but it's a harsh energy. And I've got a niggle about extreme narcissism. I've got a niggle about having so many narcissists in power in the powers that be, and that being really reflected in our reality in the sphere that we live in as the lowly people. It travels down, and the more generations we've had of this narcissistic energy in power above, the more that we're finding in our individual lives, it's becoming very prevalent, because there's this trickle down effect. If you're at work and you have a really good manager, it can be a really difficult department to work in maybe, but you've got one of those managers who really knows how to treat people fairly, knows how to delegate duties, knows how to make sure that everybody can go home at a reasonable time, puts everybody from the cleaner to the managers in the same balance, in the same amount of importance. That kind of manager, no matter what kind of environment it is, whether it's a dirty environment you work in, a very fast-paced, very stressful, you'll find that department is happy. That department naturally attracts people around that, you know, you keep friends for life from those kind of departments. I used to do bar work, and I was in certain bars that, you know, just it created a family, created people for life, that people I haven't seen for years, if I was to bump into them or find them again, I would know that I could speak to them like I'd spoken to them yesterday. I could fill them in on my life, and they would know, and they could do the same for me. And so but if you're in a department of, even if it's an easier department, a really easy job, but you've got a terrible manager who is really degrading to the staff, doesn't know how to delegate, doesn't treat people fairly, doesn't hold people in equal esteem, you know, you're going to find that people, you know, the miserable people are attracted in the predominant numbers to that department, and it feels like one day is a week's worth of work. And so we do need to, you know, be cutting the head off the snake, but we can't do that unless we're going to make the discernment in our individual lives. We can't do anything about the above if we don't have an effect in the realm we are below. So make sense of that as you will. If it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, just bear it in mind, because these energies are rampant right now. Much love. If you would like a private reading with me, you can get in touch with the details below. Be balanced. And if you'd like any spiritual guidance or energy work with me, then get in touch with the details below, and be whole. So much love to you all. Mwah.